So welcome on in to the Beer for the Right Reasons podcast. Myself, BT Freeze, and Mr. Canadian Adam of Twitch fame. He's got a lot of fans out there, especially in the north. So I hear. I don't know. But yeah, we're going over. We're gonna go over the new season of The Bachelorette with Michelle. We already have somebody in here because I accidentally marked it a Mario Kart stream and then it then changed it over. So, we switched over quick. Thank God, you know.
Yeah, sorry, Sword. We'll play some Mario Kart later. I promise.
Absolutely. But yeah, why don't we hop right in? We have lots to discuss with Michelle's premiere episode.
Sure do.
Yeah, so I'll let you kick it off there,
okay.
Adam, since I know you had some guys to go over.
Yeah, really quickly. I wrote these down before I watched the episodes. These are my thoughts on the guys at the time, because I missed a couple guys. So I missed Rick. I didn't have much to say about Rick based off his profile. Just looked like good, normal looking dude.
Good looking guy, for sure.
Yeah, Rodney, again, looked like a nice fella. And actually, I wrote down here, he looks like the kind of guy that would help you move.
Definitely, he's got the guns. He's got the He's got the stockiness.
He seems friendly that way too. You know, you can call him up; he'd help you move. So
absolutely.
Romeo, I just wrote down. Seems like a real cool nerd. Ryan, that's the ice cream truck guy, and all I could think of before the episode was a crappy action movie called Killing American Style. And it's a bunch of guys that rob an ice cream truck company and somehow make out with thousands of dollars.
Okay, I'm not aware of it. Okay, but it's
one of those 80s, late 80s, early 90s, cop man B movies, and anyway. Spencer, he's the guy who has the bad movie takes. He doesn't like to really have to pay attention to movies, so don't even watch them, in my opinion. And I had literally zero opinion on Will. So.
Gotcha.
Caught up.
Gotcha. Well, perfect. Yeah, and to sort of recap for folks, we did kind of a prequel episode here for Beer for the Right Reasons, where Adam and myself both picked 3 guys that we thought would get through night 1 at very least. My guys were Daniel, Fireman Daniel, Joe, who we found out has a little more drama about him than we thought, and then Nate with a Y, who it's pretty easy to pick the guy who's 6'8". It's really you really know it's not going to go well when he's so tall and handsome. So there you go. And who are your guys again, Adam?
I had Brandon J. I had Brian, who was the former NFL player, and I looked him up. He actually, started some games.
Oh wow, okay.
But he wasn't there for their Super Bowl season. I think he was done just before their Super Bowl season on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, so, no kidding. So like literally right the year before that.
Yeah, so he actually was a player. I don't think he started a ton of games, but he did play in them.
That's cool. So not even practice squad. We're talking like
no, he was an actual NFLer.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I also had Chris G from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Yes, the Canadian, which is funny. We found out there's actually 2 Canadians because Nate himself is from Canada, right? He's from Manitoba.
Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah.
Just north of Minnesota. Like, honestly, it's...
no kidding. Okay.
When the Winnipeg Jets play the Minnesota Wild, you have a lot of Jets fans that will drive down from Winnipeg to Minnesota for the game. Or Minneapolis, I guess. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So couple of Canadian. Looks like we got a Canadian each, which is good.
Yeah. I actually marked out pretty hard when he's like, "I'm originally from Winnipeg." I was like, "Oh yes, another one! All right, we got 2."
Very nice. But yeah, so those were your 3 guys, right?
You betcha.
And then let's hop into the episode itself. Michelle, obviously had been in Matt James' season. She came in late, all of that stuff. And then they gave her, it was a weird thing when they gave both Katie and her a Bachelorette season. I think probably just making up for COVID, I guess.
I guess they just needed programming, man. Because it felt weird because they were kind of both announced around the same time.
Yeah, I
And
think they were
so
announced together, right?
yeah, and so it was just super weird that there was two announcements for the same show, and it's almost like, like you get people excited for two things instead of just one big thing, and people go, "Oh, I might just wait that or something." I don't know. I thought that was kind of strange.
A little strange. I think also maybe The Bachelorette at that time was one of the few shows, and Bachelor for that matter, that like they could still produce with COVID and everything.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, just
pretty easily.
put everybody in a bubble, all of that stuff. So
Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, episode starts. We have a lot of Michelle with her students. Obviously, like cute students. Nice to see like racially diverse classroom as well. But the one thing that struck me is obviously it's Minnesota, so there were a couple of kids with masks on, but like clearly no no school mask mandate. So I found that a little interesting, but.
I thought the class was cute, and I thought that was kind of funny. The kids were like, "How many boys are you gonna kiss?" or whatever. And I thought that was pretty adorable. So
yeah, that was a good one. And then was it the
yeah.
little boy that brought her the little piece of paper with the hearts on it? It was like,
Yeah,
Miss Young, do well.
yeah. I thought that was really cute. So
yeah,
and I think I always like when it seems like the person might be like, all right, I did my reality TV. I'm going to go back to a normal life after. So and she actually seemed to really enjoy her students. So
yeah, and like teaching, like I feel like the teachers are one of those. It's not like some of these folks that come on the show and they're like, advertising executive or something, and it turns out that they just had like a job in ad sales 10 years before, and they just wanted social media clout, right?
Yeah, or they're a fitness model, and it's like they did
God,
Spirit of Halloween modeling shoots and stuff like that, and
yeah,
you're like you're semi obvious that you're trying to just get some more modeling jobs or a music gig or an acting gig or
wasn't it Victoria from one of the few prior seasons who was like a model for some like horrible like
White Lives Matter brand or something
God,
like that.
yeah. So like that's the level we're talking about here.
I saw that. I remember seeing that. I forget the details, but I know that saying like I wouldn't want to say use White Lives Matter there if it wasn't like that close to being accurate.
I think they were. So. Yeah, that's how bad it was for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she's like mixed race herself, I think, which is weird.
Crazy. But
anyway,
yeah. So we move on to like the school thing was awesome, and then Michelle with her parents, sitting down with them, obviously like cool biracial couple, clearly still in love and happy. So
barbecuing it up too. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't see is I don't think we saw any siblings for Michelle, so I'm not sure if she's an only child or not.
Yeah, I think she might be, because they definitely didn't mention anybody.
Yeah. So,
although I thought there were like pictures of her, because I remember pictures of her like playing basketball as a young kid.
And there looked like there was a brother or something in some of the photos, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe just the brother didn't want to be a part of the show, so they're
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. TV is not for everybody, so
for sure. Especially like especially reality TV of this nature, it's not. They're not on Breaking Bad,
No.
So after that, kind of cuts to her driving to the resort, right? I did look up where the resort is. Oh, you did? Well, tell us then.
It is a Indian Wells resort, which is kind of in Palm Springs, out by Coachella, kind of. A little bit west of all the fancy LA, San Diego stuff there.
Which I think is actually close. It's La Quinta is where they held Claire's season.
Yeah, it was very close to that. When I was looking it up, I saw La Quinta, and then I saw this. So it must have been getting a great deal on stuff out there.
I can't imagine a lot. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess this time of year. Well, I guess this was filmed in probably summer. I take it.
Summer that's one of my notes. Is you could see during the cocktail party. Like some of the dudes are just dripping in sweat. I can't imagine how hot it is out there. And they're in the middle of the night and they're still sweating like that.
And even like the desert has dry heat and all that, but if it's hot enough, it doesn't matter.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, it's called the Renaissance Esmeralda Resort. I was like, that's kind of an interesting name for a resort.
It's nice.
But yeah, then they jump into the packages for the guys, right? And as typical, I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages. I feel like that's it. Actually seemed to me like there maybe usually would have been more
6
packages. Is there 6 total?
I got Chris, Joe, Clayton, Brandon, Nate, Chris G. Oh, and Ryan.
I guess Chris G and Ryan were like kind of pseudo packages.
There was 2 small, like there was like 5 big ones and then 2 like half packages.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, let's hop into Chris though, the first one. I guess I forget his letter because Chris G is the Nova Scotian, but is the other one Chris?
Oh gosh,
I don't know
if question.
I don't know if they gave his
Chris S.
Chris S. Okay, and he's like
was the
go ahead.
Schoolboy. He showed him the schoolboy outfit.
Yes. I mean, we'll get to the limos, but like his package was like, what is it? I'm a country boy in Hollywood.
He's a Southern gentleman who lives in LA or something like that. So
yeah, and they have him waxing his eyebrows, which I found funny. Like, I've never had. Okay, I lost a bet once and had to have my chest waxed. Which was very brutal. Lots of blood involved. But seeing him wax like under his eyebrow like that whole region, I was just like, that is some sensitive area, man.
Oh, absolutely. No, I just wrote down manscaper, and that was it.
Manscaper, that's the important stuff. The one thing I thought about him, and you could tell it a lot more later in the episode. He looks like like a really small version of the actor Henry Cavill who plays Superman.
Oh, he does.
He has like that chin structure just like
him. The facial structure from the cheekbones down to the jawline.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start calling him Tiny Superman because it fits him. He has that personality already. So
yeah, no, absolutely. But
and Mr. Switchface enters the chat. He's like, enter just in time for packages. Dude packages.
You betcha, Switch.
Perfect. Do you want to go over Joe's package?
Yeah, sure. Joe's was pretty straightforward. Just kind of talked about his renos and his growing up. His job is to do home renos. He looks like a bit of a house flipper. I don't know if he does it if he's buying the houses and then renovating and flipping them himself, or if say there's like a realtor involved that's contracting him, but I feel like he's doing
the whole thing.
Was that? Okay.
It looked to me like, I mean, they can make it look like whatever, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, no. So that was pretty cool. So what's this? And then this is something that happened in a lot of the packages. Is then it cuts to these guys shooting threes, like playing basketball and shooting threes. And I just want to know how many takes it took for all these guys to hit their three, spin around, and say something to the camera. Like how many rim shots, how many air balls were in there. So.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Well, it makes me think of. Do you watch much of The American Office at all?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of that.
So in the end of The Office basketball episode where they play against the warehouse guys. The guy who plays Kevin shoots threes and makes like 6 in a row. And I watched the podcast about The Office ladies, and they said that the actor, I forget the actor's name, Brian Baumgartner or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He drained in reality like 12 threes in a row just as they were shooting that. And the camera just started to look at him because he kept making shots. So I wonder if these guys, hopefully they were like that, but I somehow doubt it.
Oh. Joe was one of the basketball players. I mean, he did play college, so hopefully it didn't take him too many times.
Well, and it said that they graduated the same year as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, she must, know of him at very least. Like, obviously, we'll figure that out. But like, graduated same year. Both biracial parents as well. Like, a lot of connections for sure.
You betcha. And they're both Minnesota people, or Minneapolis, Minnesota people. So,
do we know how far outside of Minneapolis her city is? I didn't look into that personally.
What's the name of it?
Oh God, I don't remember. Unfortunately,
like Woodbridge or something like that.
Woodbury maybe or something like that. I don't know.
Woodbury, Minnesota.
Something.
Let's see here. According to Google Maps, it's just southeast of St. Paul, so it's right there pretty much.
Oh, okay. So just the suburbs, maybe, huh?
Yeah, looking like the suburbs.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it with Joe, at least in the package for him. The next one they did was Clayton, who, seemed, we all know, like, this is not a spoiler to anybody that's going to listen to this podcast. He's going to be the next Bachelor. Really strong-jawed Southern boy kind of vibes, like, what was the Colton 2.0, if you will.
He looks like a cross between Colton and Jesse Palmer.
Exactly. With Jesse Palmer can grow a lot better beard, but otherwise, yeah.
I just got, like, my only note here is big dude. Wow, because there's a picture of him standing next to his brothers, and they're all like tall, broad dudes. And you can tell this guy played football because his shoulders and his chest and everything is like twice the size of his brothers, who are already big guys.
They're huge, and he calls themselves like a family fraternity. I'm like, you look like fraternity brothers, like they all play rugby together or something.
Yeah. And I thought it was kind of cute though that like his mom got on camera and starts giving the hard sell about what a great boy she raised. And, I was like, okay.
And she's a teacher also. I remember that.
Oh, was that? That's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And of course, he had to, like all ex-college players. I don't know if Clayton ended up playing pro, but yeah, he of course had it framed in glass.
The fact that they only focused on college and never mentioned NFL makes me think that he didn't get past college,
or just didn't want to show his half a season on a practice squad somewhere.
Yeah, something like that. Like he never really properly made it to a game check or anything like that. So
right.
Yeah.
All right. So next, go ahead.
Was Brandon? Then they got into kind of the mini packages there. So Brandon had a really smaller, short one.
Yeah.
And he's just Pacific Northwest guy. Talked about snowboarding. I think that was it. There wasn't.
He said he played basketball a lot.
Right, basketball.
The one thing I wrote down was that he grew up sort of raising his brother. They said that the parents worked a lot, so he was responsible for raising his brother quite a bit. So that's cool.
Right. No. Then we get to Nate, who again, surprise Canadian. That, like you said, that I popped.
Shocker. Yes.
It's like, I was excited. And I actually looked him up to see what took him down to Austin, Texas, and he's like one of the sales execs at like Indeed.com.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess he's involved with probably their ad buying and their advertising, their ad space program, or he's on the side where the companies are working with him to promote their job postings or something. So
yep.
Actually seems like a real, like, again, like you get a lot of sales, blah, 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 and marketing this, and then you look it up and it's not really accurate to what they're doing. So, But it actually seems like he's actually does have his own career going. So
I think, was it Nick Vile who was a sales executive before he hopped into the whole Bachelor thing, I believe?
Software or something, yeah.
Software sales or something. Yeah. I wrote down, first of all, that originally from Winnipeg, I put an exclamation point, of course. The badass 90s earrings, those are the other big key with him. And then, like, really cute dog that he clearly went on a road trip with. Is the dog staying in the hotel? I doubt that.
I don't know about that. I was curious about that because, like, was that those videos with the dog, was that him filming driving Austin to LA?
Or to Palm Springs. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because they always do that where they have the videos where the guys, set up the camera mount and they're driving. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then they cut that into the packages. So I wasn't sure there. Maybe he doesn't have anyone who can look after his dog. Because if his family's up in Winnipeg, like crossing the border and like
single guy too,
he's got to be 3,000 kilometers from home. So 2,000 miles. So not easy to get your dog up there. So
I mean, very well could be. Maybe they have the show look after the pup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But also they mentioned briefly that his mom's also a teacher. So apparently everybody's mom in this show is a teacher, or
they always looked up to their teachers and always respect the job teachers have to do.
Yeah, either that or that's all the things with Michelle's season. It's like respect for teachers, or mom was a teacher, or somehow involved in the community. Those are like the two, like, gotta have them.
Pretty much. Yeah.
After Nate, they cut to
our second Canadian.
Chris G, who is one of your guys, right?
You betcha. Yeah, and he's from Eastern Canada, like on the coast, and his accent's not too bad. But I
No.
have friends that are from the same region, and I know exactly, like, you give him three Bud Lights and give him three friends that, or one friend even, that's also from Nova Scotia, and they're gonna start speaking another language, just like listening to Scottish people talk to each other.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and then, like, before you know it, they'll be ordering KFC with the taxi cab or something like that. You know, like
Beautiful.
he'll
Well,
go full on East Coaster.
I remember
So,
watching, so I watched Big Brother, another reality show, quite a bit, and I watched Big Brother Canada, and one of them is a Newfoundlander, and
oh boy,
holy accent.
yeah, yeah.
I imagine this is a little lighter version of that, but
It's lighter, but like I said, once you get one of them, once they get two of them together, like I got a buddy, and when he's with his brother-in-law, like I don't know what they're saying.
just
I just
who
don't
knows?
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually texted my buddy from Nova Scotia, and I was like, "Hey, you wouldn't happen to know any Gallants, would you? Like maybe a guy named Chris?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, I know a lot of them. And apparently they're a huge like family out there. Like it's like there's a huge Gallant clan in Eastern Canada. And they
Sure.
kind of span across all the provinces, and so I bet you my buddy probably knows his cousin or older brother or something like that, because I guess they're everywhere from PEI all the way to the tip of Nova Scotia.
No
So
kidding. Well,
yeah,
you never know then. Yeah, yeah. One of the peoples. I like it. I
yeah,
like it. And of course, after they introduce Chris, they get Tasha and Caitlin to come and, you know,
invade his room.
invade their rooms, which I have my thoughts on why they did that. I think a producer may have tipped them off to a certain shirtless rancher. And so they kind of,
to make it seem not like it's just one person they wanted to do it. They're like, let's actually go check on like five guys real quick.
Yep, and
Yeah,
film a couple of them. Yep.
I got a conspiracy theory about that. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll get to it a bit later.
Yep. Sounds good. So they quickly go to Spencer, who's like good-looking black dude from Cleveland.
Ripped too.
Ripped
oh my
dude.
goodness.
Yep. I
like,
thought
he had 12 abs, man.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, my shirt's not on," and I'm like, "You heard the cameras out there. Come on, man." But the only thing I remember is that they spoke about his coconut coffee scrub. So he's a man that clearly.
I've got a coffee scrub that I use occasionally too. If I got like family picture day or something, and I'm like, oh, I really need the skin to
glow,
to wake up, I've got this like cocoa coffee bean skin scrub.
Oh man,
so.
you've got the skincare game like well above where I'm at.
Try my best.
Love it. And then obviously last person that they kind of raid their room is our friend Ryan, who they do a small package, right? Like they have him shirtless on the mower or shirtless on the tractor, of course. I remember him. I put a note that he said, "Oh yeah, I know how to plow a field, ladies." So.
And then it cuts to him in the room, and we find he's got like binders on the show, and
yep.
Like I said, I don't know. Do you want me to go into it now, or do you want me to go into it when Michelle confronts them?
We can go into it in a little bit here.
Okay. Because I've got a little conspiracy theory on this.
Okay.
And I did a little bit more research than I normally do. Because usually I watch the show and I try to almost watch it like with the horse blinders on.
Oh yeah.
Like wrestling style. Like I'm going to believe the show a bit as it is.
This is reality.
Yeah, because but then at the same time I am conscious of like they can edit and splice word quotes and stuff. And sometimes you hear like weird pitches in people's voice. It's like that doesn't sound like a normal sentence. So
yep. There's a fellow podcaster called Bachelor Fan Take who I know we've talked about.
Yeah.
He does a ton of conspiracy theories. So
okay,
we'll have some conspiracy theories on our show.
Okay, I watched one of his vids. I haven't watched the other ones yet because I kind of wanted to have my own opinions before I heard his opinions.
Absolutely. So obviously the cheat sheets happen, right? Tasha and Caitlin are obviously rightfully creeped out a little bit. And then next thing is limo entrances.
Yeah. Well, when Michelle walked out,
Mhm.
And like she looked amazing. Oh man.
Good choice on the
If
dress. Like,
if I walked out of a limo and saw a woman standing there staring at me, waiting to talk to me like that, I would forget my name. Like I think Rodney said that,
yeah,
like
and Nate did
100%.
too. Yeah,
Or
Nate.
was it Nate?
Both of them
Yeah,
were like just stunned. Yeah.
yeah. I again, I wouldn't know what to say. I'd start stumbling over my words and be like, yeah, unbelievable.
Absolutely
And
gorgeous for sure.
and I'm not someone who struggles to speak either. Like I can create conversation out of thin air. Like there's not a lot of dead air when I'm around, but
Hmm.
jeepers. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Yeah, no, she's a beautiful gal, and it's funny because they always have a little bit of a glow up between being a contestant and being the lead, because like
Well, I think they get the makeup team, and then they get
exactly.
um, like the wardrobe stylist and everything. So
Yep,
instead
yep,
of her doing her own makeup, I'm sure she's got a team doing it now.
yep. Just
Just that
I think they
bit of
just softened
expertise.
her features just the littlest bit, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy crap. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a beautiful lady for sure. So yeah, first one out of the limo is Mr. Nate with a Y. He says his full family name, which is like 6 names or something like
Yeah.
that.
It actually made me think of there's a hockey player, and I might be doing this a lot.
That's okay. That's
Named
okay.
Jerome McGinley, and he has like 6 middle names as well.
Nice.
So it just made me kind of think. I almost wonder if whatever heritage he has, because he's a biracial hockey player.
Sure.
I wonder if maybe there's a shared heritage there where it's very common to put in a whole bunch of family names in the middle. I didn't look into it, but
Well, it makes me think
I
of
wondered about that.
also makes me think of Dumbledore in Harry Potter. He has like 6 names, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I remember. So Nate comes out. He gives the punchline of "better Nate than never," rather than "better late than never." I was like, oh, okay, cute, cute. But he was clearly like stumbling on his words. Yeah.
And she was super into him too, though.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
you could
I mean,
tell
he's a gorgeous guy. Don't get me wrong.
He's a good looking dude, and he's
yeah.
6'8". Like there's just some things you can't compete with, and 6'8's one of them.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go over some of the guys you had notes on?
Sure. I mean, I got notes on all of them. I mean,
okay.
like some of them aren't much. I mean, Romeo was next. Comes out, speaks French, makes the Romeo and Juliet pun.
Yep.
Seems like a smooth guy.
Typical cute entrance. Yeah. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. He's the mathematician. If you remember.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about his job.
Actually does have like a PhD or something in mathematics, and he helps crunch numbers for some company in New York. So like that's actually pretty cool. Like
really cool.
Like, real jobs. I'm always impressed by these guys with real jobs. So.
Yeah,
maybe I shouldn't be. I should raise my standards a bit more. But
all of them should have real. Well, it's funny because there's always the double standard, right? Of like, the homeless guy is always the one that the girl's never interested in, but a girl that doesn't have a job, who cares?
Yeah,
It's sometimes a double standard that way, but we do look at the men's jobs as like important. But yeah. So was it Clayton that was next?
Jack was next.
Okay.
And I actually thought that he was way better looking in his like when he walks out than his like website profile gave him credit for.
Oh, is this the guy whose name was Jack Russell?
Yeah.
Yes,
and he had the white jacket on, and I actually like he's my pick for he's gonna get picked for Paradise and be kind of popular there.
I could totally see that. Yeah, there were a couple of those, and not to give away the guys who are gonna get not nothing like that, but there are some guys that you're like, I think you're gonna be Michelle may not be for you, but you're gonna be popular.
Yeah, he seemed pretty wholesome, and plus the other thing I noticed about him, he has that military posture. Like when he's standing there, it's just very upright, but not like robotic, just very
proper,
just stiff and formal. Yeah. So then it was Clayton, and I wrote down, I don't really care. And that was it.
Yeah, you didn't care for the ruler stick joke where
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But the thing about Clayton, and it's almost the show's fault, is they spoiled the new Bachelor. So like, I don't really care now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I care if he'll cause drama, right?
But he's not going to. If he's going to be the new Bachelor, the most drama he'll get into is as like the defender,
or
like,
as the tattletale. Yeah, that was Katie's kind of
claim for the guys. That's usually more the defender. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stand up for Michelle to you because you can't be that. So
fair enough. Yeah, you're totally right. It does. It is sad, and I was talking about this with Miss Baby Ruthie, my partner. We're like, it is sad that this has now become a normal thing that they've announced Bachelorette so far ahead of time, especially when it's like, oh, we haven't even really met the person yet.
I wonder if now that they're getting to normal again, that you'll see the announcements and the schedule kind of go back to what we're used to.
That's the hope, at least, right?
Yeah.
And then I wrote a note
Jamie.
Okay, Jamie, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Jamie. Yeah, great dude, normal. That was it. I looked up what his biotech CEO is, and his company does air filters.
Air filters? No kidding.
Yeah, air filter systems. So
I mean,
that's cool. But when you hear biotech CEO, you're thinking like, he's they got research stations pulling stuff out of the jungle to find crazy medicinal cures or
like
whatever.
Tony Stark shit.
Yeah.
But I like him. He's got a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I liked him too. He's one of my favorite guys. I don't know how far he's gonna go, but I feel like he's the kind of guy who lasts like 6 episodes and then quietly leaves.
Could be. Yeah. He's got a good charm to him.
Yeah. Sure. No, I liked him.
Yep.
So then it was Chris G.
Chris G in the schoolboy outfit.
No, that was Chris S in the schoolboy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm getting ahead of this.
Chris G. That's my Canadian, and I want him. I want them to do a hometown for him so badly, like a proper hometown. I want her to go to Halifax and be around all the. Because the thing about like have you seen the Trailer Park Boys?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
That show's not that far removed from reality. It is a bit bigged up, but like you just have people out there like that, and it's so. I want to see her dropped into things like that where you've got like the city folk style of those kind of guys, because I think it'd just be amazing TV.
Yeah, from what you say about that region, I think it would be worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll make it that far, but I would love for a proper hometown visit. I wonder if they might be doing we'll bring the family in and fake a hometown experience.
I think so. I think that they're not quite to the natural, like, unless they're quarantining a whole family and like doing all that. I doubt it, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be tough,
but yeah, very cool. Let's see.
Malik was next. I don't have anything written for him.
Yeah, I didn't even write anything down about Malik, honestly. Yeah. Just kind of.
Then our Tony Romo lookalike came out.
Yes.
And I just wrote Tony Romo.
What's his name again?
Alec.
Alec is Tony Romo. Okay, yes.
And then again, like the next few guys, it was just like Will, Pardeep, Olu. That's what they abbreviated his name to. I forget his full name.
Yeah.
They all kind of came out bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, they didn't give much time to. I paid attention to that because obviously Pardeep is the only Indian, like guy of Indian descent.
Yeah.
On the show, and it's like they didn't give almost any time to him. So whether that's the edit or what have you, just interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then Chris comes out and does in his little schoolboy outfit because he came on the school bus.
Yep.
He's got the shorts and the socks pulled up like he's at the boarding school, and I thought that was kind of funny.
I thought it was good. What's funny though? I think it would have been better if he wasn't a short guy already.
That's one of the things. Something I was going to point out is that there's a lot of tall dudes on this show, and that dude doesn't look like he's much more than 5'10".
Exactly. I think he's probably Michelle's height at best.
Yeah, and I think she's around 5. Well, with heels on, I think she's pushing about 5'11", maybe. Yeah. Maybe even a bit more. So it made him look it just made him look so short.
Even shorter and more childlike, and I'm like, man. While it might have made you stick out from the crowd a little bit, I don't know if that was the move.
No, but he was the first gimmick entrance too.
Oh, he was. Yeah. He was the first one not getting out of the limo, right?
Yeah, he was the first gimmick entrance. And do gimmick entrance guys ever really go far? I was trying to think about that, and I feel like most of the gimmick entrance guys don't really.
I think it depends on the gimmick, right? Like the gimmick ones where it's like they hide in something or they are wearing something really weird like that. Generally, no. But like, there's been ones where they like didn't. Who was the gal that came up in the like red. It was like the red Mustang during Ari's season.
Yeah, that was pretty
Like
cool.
she lasted
I don't know how far
forever.
she got.
I think she lasted like to like the last like 5 or 6 at least.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think most of the like
Yeah.
final 2 or 3, they don't really need a.
That's kind of the ways, that's like the peek behind the curtain at who's not really going to go all that far. Gimmick entrances, like, all right.
But I always look to the gimmick guys because they're the ones that are gonna like
hopefully
stir up
fun.
some drama and have fun. So
yeah. He was followed by Garrett and his cane, and I thought the cane was like a swag move, but it turns out no, he actually did
broke his
break
foot.
his foot.
Well, and I thought of like all the dates that they're gonna go on, right?
Yeah, I just thought that was like a cool swag move, But yeah, then
it's a great cane.
I don't know. He just seemed normal. If it wasn't for the cane, I probably wouldn't have anything to write down about him.
Yeah, and even with the cane, I didn't really write anything. I was kind of like, I don't. It just didn't really strike me as super interesting.
No. Casey was next. Again, another guy who I feel wasn't done justice by his web profile because he looked a lot nicer and just seemed like a much nicer dude than I think on his web profile we were both like, whatever, this guy seems like whatever, who cares?
Generic.
But, he seemed like a real calm, nice, dude. So, and I think he's the oldest guy in the season. He's 36.
Yeah, and he has like a little. Does he have a little bit of gray in his hair?
Yeah, there's a little bit of salt and pepper.
I remember he had like a good head of hair though.
Yeah. But there was a little bit of the gray starting to come in. So
I feel it.
Yeah. Brandon K. That's our. That's the guy who came out with the beads because he's the New Orleans guy.
Yep. Which I found kind of awkward. It's like, do you know what these beads mean, man? Like, she's in like a $2,000 dress.
Yeah, and he said the thing where it's like, I'm gonna show you, to get these beads, you got to show me your. And she goes, okay, I'm gonna take these off. Like, didn't even let him get to his punchline.
Yep.
And he's like, heart.
No,
heart,
take it
heart.
again. Take it again.
No, she was not feeling it.
Yep.
I just wrote down, good try, better luck next time.
Yeah, I don't. Too unfortunate.
Next is LT. He's your Bellevue, Washington guy.
Yes, and he comes out in his Speedo.
He was exactly as you described him to be. Yeah,
the Speedo tuxedo is probably, with the sports jacket also, is probably the most Bellevue, Washington move ever. I'm surprised he didn't walk up to her and tell her he had a Tesla, like right away. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Ugh. The only thing that made me think of is, like, okay, what if I showed up in a tuxedo t-shirt? Should I make this show? All the guys are in suits, but I'm gonna wear the tuxedo t-shirt.
I think that's cool. I think there have been guys throughout the years that have done it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool move.
Because the heat that these guys are in, because they start this at nighttime.
Yep.
And like the rose ceremony was like the sun was up. So
like the sun was like not even up, just like it was full on daytime.
It was morning. It was let's go have some eggs and bacon breakfast time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to the guys that get kicked off like seeing like the sun just starting to peak around the mansion, and they went for it this year. I like it.
They sure did. Rick was the next one. Came in, and he's the table guy who came in on the like the room service cart.
The lettuce wrap.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun, and he seems like
him.
Super head over heels too.
It was funny because Miss Baby Ruthie, and like I'll throw in her comments on here every now and then because like her reactions are hysterical. But she's like, his eyes were really intense. So like he'd say stuff and just be like, really like intense eyes, and she's like, that would freak me out, especially if he was a head on a table. And I was like, that's interesting. I didn't really
pick up on that, but that's something that a woman would definitely pick up on, something like that, where we definitely probably wouldn't. So
yep. Yeah, but I like the move. I think it's like what was the guy last season that did the box? James. Yeah, I thought this one was a lot more clever because at least you get to see him, and also they tend to put the really good looking guys in stuff like that. Like, I feel like Rick's just a really good looking guy, and I'm like, man, at least she saw your face, you know?
Yeah. Like if a guy was a little bit more average looking, but like say had, he was 6'4" and had a great body and maybe had great posture that makes, helps kind of add to it all.
Yeah.
You might not want to do something where you hide, 85% of yourself. But
Yes.
if when you got good looks and you can get by with that, then by all means.
Yep.
So
I think it was a good move for sure.
then comes Ryan, our ice cream guy.
Oh, yes.
Our tractor man,
the ice cream
Notes.
guy, the Notes, and I'm gonna play a little sound clip here.
Oh,
I got it. It's a sad trombone.
oh,
The Notes guy.
And she actually seemed to kind of like him,
Big time. Oh, she really liked him.
She really liked him. Off the start, like he had a pretty good. He probably could have gone somewhere.
Did she have something? She must have had something in her bio or her something online that she loved ice cream, because she was stoked about the ice cream truck. Where in a way I'd be like, okay, ice cream, great.
Yeah, no, there was something, and he mentioned something about how he knew that she liked ice cream. I don't know if maybe she does a lot of Instagram posts or something. I don't really follow a lot of people on Instagram, which is again kind of the way that I kind of like, horse blinders watch the show.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
But we can get to Ryan in just a bit. Rodney comes out again. Good dude, would help you move. Although he's wearing a red apple costume because he gave a teacher an apple. And then he calls himself a Granny Smith, which is the only green apple.
What I love is that she lists off red apples beforehand.
In red apples.
And he's like, I'm going to go with Granny Smith.
Yeah, the only green one. The only green one. And she's a big apple person, apparently. Like, she's not the brand, but like the actual fruit, because she's talking about she likes to go apple picking in the orchard, and the fact that she can list off a dozen apples off the top of her head like that.
I don't feel like Minnesota has the climate for apples, but maybe.
I mean, you can go to apple orchards here. It's just you got to go in like September. It's not really like a later season thing. Yeah, even by the back half of September, you start to really lose it. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
We get a cooler climate than them a bit. So.
Yeah.
Peter, I was surprised he didn't get an intro because he's the pizzapreneur, and I think we both thought that because of that business, he was going to totally have an intro package.
I wanted to meet his pizza family so badly, and have like the stereotypical Italian pizza family, but
I wanted to see that. And because he is so Italian too. He comes out and he's just yelling in Italian and throws a pizza dough in the air. Doesn't even try to catch it.
No, he just like onto the ground, and it's like goes in this like disgusting string.
Yeah. I saw something on Instagram the other day. It's a clip from The Sopranos, and it's a whole bunch of these Italian guys. They're all yelling about something, and the closed captioning just says Italian noises. And that's all I could think of when he came out.
That's all you need for captions for him is
Italian noises. So nice. He seems like a fun dude. He does get into a bit of drama we see at the end of the episode in the preview, but he seems like a pretty alright dude.
Yeah. No, he and he's got something interesting about him, right? So
yeah, he's got his own career. He's got something kind of unique, right? So
Yep.
Then we get into our back-to-back firefighters. Daniel,
my guy,
your guy.
I got the toy truck fireman.
Yeah, comes in on the little Paw Patrol fire engine, scooting himself along like he's dragging his butt across the floor.
It got almost to a sad point where it's just like, oh man, just stand up,
just
please.
Get off. Yeah, but he wore his fireman outfit, which I actually thought was like pretty interesting change, because a lot of times on these shows you'll see things where guys will have the same career and then they both just show up in suits or whatever it is, right? And so it's like you don't really remember, but like for him to show up in the fireman outfit, because could come across another firefighter, and which we do in PJ, who we both liked last week.
Yeah, no, I thought he'd do well. He's a good looking cat.
Yeah, and he, like I said, he's got that little bit of that like late 80s, early 90s hip hop thing with the mustache, the single earring.
Yeah.
At least in the picture that on the website, that kind of like classic cool vibe.
Yeah.
And he comes out just in a real fire truck, but then his normal suit. So yeah.
No, I think it was funny because when Daniel came out, or when he walked out, he goes to like get up on the stairs, and I don't know if you paid attention to it, but he almost like stumbles to the side, and I'm like, man, you're in full like fireman gear from the bottom. Like it's not the most like agile you've ever been. And then he kind of like stumbles around, and then she's like, come over here. It was really, it was kind of awkward and funny, but just a little thing that I saw. But
no, it seems all right. And he seems like he saved himself because I think they had like a decent conversation later on. So.
Oh yeah, big time.
Brandon rolls up. He was one of my guys. He's the guy who rolled up in the bed.
Oh yes.
And she's like, I don't normally get into bed on the first date. And I was like, oh buddy, careful what you say right here, because you could sink or swim your chances right off the bat.
Well, she's very like measured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something I noticed about her. She doesn't like, if the joke is not the right, how do I put it? Like right perception, she's out.
Awkwardly laugh along just to try to make, if she's off, she's like, no, she's just, I'm not going to put up with this kind of.
Yep.
So.
No, I like the bed. I thought the bed was funny at very least.
Yeah. And again, something interesting. And then the end clip where Tayshia and Caitlin are trying to wheel it away.
Oh, God. Perfect.
And Caitlin doesn't have the strength to move it.
It's because the wheels are locked.
Yeah, and then they unlock the wheels, and the production guy comes along, but then one of the wheels breaks off, and then it just ends with them like disappearing down the driveway.
Oh, too good. Yeah. Too good.
That was fun. So then I have Spencer here. I just wrote he has balls, but I forget why that is. Do you remember who Spencer is now?
Shoot, I don't really know.
Oh well, I don't think I just had that written down. Spencer the Bachelorette. Really quick Google.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, we're getting Tayshia's Spencer.
Oh, yep. No, wrong one.
Spencer fall 2021. Oh, okay. Yeah. That was the guy who doesn't like movies.
Oh,
or
okay.
doesn't like to pay attention to movies. Sorry.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I don't remember what he did. He must have said something that I was like, oh, okay, man, go for it. But
Gotcha.
Then we go into Ryan, who was one of my pick, or not Ryan, not Brian. Sorry. Going to Ryan, or no, yes, this is Brian.
Okay.
Bad handwriting. He's my NFL guy.
Oh yeah, you're an NFL guy.
At all. They showed him like twirling her to dance twice, and that was it.
Gotcha. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I just want to say hey to Kat in the chat. Welcome in, Kat.
Hi, Kat. Welcome in. Then Jamari shows up, and he's the fitness coach who rips off his suit sleeves.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he has the deepest voice on planet Earth.
Oh, my gosh. He needs to get into, like, voiceover work with that. Because, like, he has the, like, every cartoon you watch growing up, and they cut to, like, the black dad, you know, in the show, who always has that deep booming voice. He's got that voice. Yeah. And he's got the arms to go with it, too. His arms are enormous.
Yeah. Miss Baby Ruthie was like, when he started talking, she was like, oh. Well, hello.
Yeah. It was deep.
Deep. And Kat, we're doing a podcast called Beer for the Right Reasons. It's on the show The Bachelorette. So we just had the premiere episode, so we're kind of rolling through that right now.
Yeah. Edward comes in.
Mm-hmm.
He's I only know his name because I wrote it down. I couldn't tell him much about him. And he did like the thing where he like ran his hand around the bowl to make it like hum.
Oh yeah, the relaxing yoga bowl or whatever is what I
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, feel free to chat, Kat. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, no, definitely chat. Yeah, no worries.
Then it comes to Leroy, and he's the guy who did the Polaroid camera, but I think that was all we saw from him.
Yeah, simple. I mean, I think they don't they give the guys those cameras to like document the process?
Must. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember that from a prior season.
Yeah, so. Martin comes in, does a backflip, which was pretty cool.
Yes, and then he kind of beefed it too. He didn't like all the way to his feet.
Wasn't clean.
No.
But he did most of it, and honestly, to do that in dress clothes and dress shoes,
amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you credit for that because. Like, I wear dress shoes all the time for work, and if I'm not, like, there are tons of times where I'm losing footing because they're just not designed for grip. So.
Terrible. So, no, I shouldn't give the guy shit. He did very well.
Yeah. Wasn't perfect, but I'm not gonna, like, if he totally biffed it, I'd be like, what are you thinking? Why did you do that, right? You just, you know.
Yeah, although that might have been even funnier. Then, though,
yeah, there's a way to play that off, I guess.
Yeah.
But then last, but very much not least, Joe comes out. And my exact notes are, DMs because
Yep.
he walks up, says, his whatever thing to her, and then he starts walking away, and Michelle's like, I think I know you. Is your last name, I think, Cameron? And he goes, yeah. He's like, I was in your DMs. And it's like, oh, what's the story here?
Well, and even when he walks up, she goes, do I know you?
Yeah, she recognizes him immediately.
And he clearly, this, if I'm thinking typical, not the best guy behavior, he's like acting like he doesn't really even know her. He's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, and whatever. I'm like, man, if you know that girl was up in your DMs, I get it. You kind of have to do it for the show, but
yeah. That's the thing. The show doesn't like it when people, although on Paradise now, they don't seem to care anymore, but they used to be really sticky about that. And then there's also the thing though, where there was a girl I matched with on Tinder years ago, and we messaged a bit and then just kind of stopped talking. Yeah. And I ran into her at the bar a couple months later, and I recognized her. And I just pretended that we didn't know her, and then she finally put it together after a bit. But I didn't go up to her being like, "Hey, do you remember me?"
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's a good point.
I wonder if especially because he found out their conversation kind of fizzled out. She was talking to him. He decided to stop talking. She called it ghosting. I don't know where the line is between ghosting and someone just fizzling out and not having the energy.
Kind of a fizzle ghost. Yes.
I have a heavy conversation because it sounded like they were talking a lot about the George Floyd stuff.
Yep.
So I can kind of understand somebody maybe getting to a point where they just, I can't talk about this topic right now.
Right.
And he did talk about it when he went to therapy. So,
I will say this though, going on. Speaking from experience with, being in a long-term relationship and all of that, women don't forget things.
No, they don't.
They will remember every little thing they've done over the last, everything a guy offhandedly said to them 8 years ago. They will fucking remember. I remember there was some joke I saw online. It was like, why are all ladies not archaeologists? Because they have a skill at digging up the past.
Oh,
something to that
funny.
effect. But I even Miss Baby Ruthie and I, if I say something about oh, you remember that one time I made you upset because we talked about skiing, and she's like, well, I remember when you were an asshole about that. That kind of stuff. It's like,
with my ex, I remember similar stuff where, and this isn't me trying to be like a shitty boyfriend or whatever, but it was like, she would bring stuff up. She's like, remember when you said this? What did you mean? I'm like, I honestly have no recollection of that.
Yep. It's a dude thing, I feel like.
It's just like,
it goes into the past and it's gone.
And then it's like, and I probably meant whatever was on the surface. There's nothing else going on there, but Absolutely. It's definitely a thing where ladies remember that stuff, man.
Yep. So, and she clearly did. She was not going to let Joe get away with a second of it.
Because she obviously must have been into him too, to remember him. Because she obviously would have creeped his page and really, really taken him in. It wasn't just like somebody said, because she, Minnesota person on the George Floyd stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe she had her DMs open for people and she was just chatting to random folks. They obviously went.
No, well, and she made it clear to say, I slid into your DMs.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
Which is I don't know, and the world's very different from when I was single, Adam. It's been 8 years for me. So
not often a lady does it.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Because a friend of mine, she showed me her DMs one time. She went to her Instagram requests, and it's just hundreds of dudes.
Yep.
Trying to slide, and we've done the phone swap for Tinder and stuff like that before too.
Fun.
And I'll look at just the stuff dudes are saying. I'm just like, yeah, I get it. I get how you can just tune this all out.
It's got to be horrible. It's got to be absolutely horrible.
It's a conversation that I could go on for a half hour about that, because boy, was it something. So
for sure.
Maybe another day we can talk about that.
Indeed. Okay, so then we're on to the cocktail party, right?
You bet.
Michelle gives a speech about looking for the same love as her parents, seeing that love for decades, and wanting to find that same kind of thing. And then she does mention something I thought actually was really cool, where she said, I felt some pretty amazing things when I was in your position, as in when she was on Matt James' season. She's like, if you're authentic to this process, it was pretty awesome for me. And I was like, you don't hear a lot of bachelorettes that did it. Usually they're like, oh, I was in your shoes, it kind of sucked, right?
Yeah, I know how tough it can be. Mm-hmm. But she gave a positive vibe about it.
And don't get me wrong, she got probably the most nice treatment as a contestant ever. Like coming in late and immediately getting a one-on-one is like, maybe not the struggle that some go through.
She came across glowing the whole season,
Oh,
which
wonderful.
On one hand, you can say, oh, good edit, which you have to be aware of. On the other hand, though, if you're just really awesome, it's hard to make you look like crap.
Yeah, just a top shelf lady for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's what the two notes that I had was like the parents thing, and then like actually having some empathy for these guys, like not only on the bad side, but like, hey, this can be really fucking awesome if you guys get into this, you know?
Yeah. So they get into the cocktail party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jamie grabs her immediately, which I always like that move.
Power move, yeah. Older guy, like confidence, absolutely.
Was he the guy? No, he wasn't. Was he the guy that was married? I don't remember.
I don't remember which two guys were
married. That, but I was just thinking because
let me look and see if I don't have any note about that. Dang.
Yeah, because I remember there was someone who was married, and I that's kind of like a very, I'm not here to mess around, like I've been through maybe one marriage, I'm done with that, I'm looking for my real forever person to just immediately cut through the BS. And I can relate to that. Like, I haven't been married, but now when I'm dating, like, I honestly, like, I try to cut through as much of that early BS and like let's just get to it.
Yeah, let's be people.
Let's talk about the things that we need to know about each other. So I thought that was really cool. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, I lost my place.
Then I guess we kind of get into the Ryan drama because it shows clips of her talking to other dudes and stuff.
Yeah, it showed Romeo it showed what did I have? Showed Peter coming in and making her cannolis, which I thought was kind of really cool.
Yeah.
She, and the funniest part I thought is that she took a bite and she clearly thought that they were just super marginal, like not like it wasn't like oh my god these cannolis are the way to my heart. She was kind of like, this is good, what is it? Show some sit down time with Chris G and all the other guys. Again, like cuts to Brian giving her a twirl for 1 second again. Cuts to her and Joe on the couch, and that's when Rick comes in. Yeah, but the Joe part I wanted to talk on for a second. Okay. Because that's where she kind of like pulls him apart from the party, right?
Does. Yeah.
And talks to him about not DMing her back and all this George Floyd stuff, which it's hard to look at somebody in his perspective. Like I didn't get like super douchebag or absolutely on his side kind of thing. It was kind of somewhere in the middle of like, he probably was a little shitty, but also hard time, right? Like I feel like it was kind of a balance.
Yeah, I'm mostly neutral. I've seen some people that, and I can totally get if you're a girl and you liked a guy and he ghosted you, that you might be like, no, I'm not giving him a second chance.
Wipe my hands of him.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, he seemed a bit honest about it, and he wasn't like, when she was asking him questions, like I didn't think he was really dodging the questions.
No, if anything, he almost gave like over explanation of things.
Yeah, so I'm sympathetic there a bit. Like I said, he's not. I think she really digs him too, very
big
clearly.
Time.
Like,
big time.
And I think she was almost looking for a justification to dig him as much as she does. So,
well, it's kind of like the Katie Thurston thing with Greg, right? Like where she's like, you look like one of my exes," and be like, "No, that's clearly what you go for on the outside world. Like, we get that. Like, that's the part of the show you can't fake."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, yep. But I feel like afterwards, she still seemed kind of 50-50, which is interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, I think she was looking for a reason to keep him and give him a shot so that they could figure things out, because I think she does. Again, the Minnesota guy, basketball,
all those things. There's just so many check boxes.
Yeah, that I think that it's almost, again, checks so many boxes that she wants to, really give him a chance. So
yeah, for sure.
But now we get to the Ryan drama. So that's where my conspiracy theory comes in. So,
okay, yes.
Because they make him look like a villain. Like they try to give him the villain edit. Because they're like, oh, look how he's manipulative. He's got notes on all these people. And he didn't explain himself particularly well either.
No, he played a very like, oh, what? No, I didn't
Yeah,
do anything wrong, which is always
but
like the worst
yeah,
possible.
and this is what I tend to try to find the good in people all the time and like give people the benefit of the doubt.
God
He
damn
does seem like
Canadian.
he's a little he does seem like he's a little, I don't know if I want to use socially awkward,
A
but
little
he
bit.
doesn't seem quite as alpha as all the other guys kind of come across.
I think that might have been a
So
vibe though. I think
yeah,
they like what was it in the notes like that he had like from his friend who said like be
yeah,
less of a like like type A asshole and be
yeah,
more like sit back and listen. And I'm like,
yeah, and he
it's
seemed a
hard to
little more
tell.
on the nervous, like a little bit on the nervous side. Maybe he's nervous because he has these notes and he doesn't want to get caught. I'm not sure,
Could
but
be.
I don't know. He just struck me more as like a little bit on more to the like quieter weird side
Yeah.
than creepy manipulative side, I
I
guess.
was a little surprised that she liked him so much. Honestly,
Yeah,
I didn't
and
expect her to be like, "Oh my god, ice cream guy."
yeah, no, and I mean, again, like I said, there's just so much going on. But my conspiracy is that because apparently he used to go to Bachelor casting events, so when he said that he only has watched
Yeah,
2 episodes of the show, that might be a little bit, maybe that's true, but he's also been kind of involved with these like franchise events to some
oh yeah,
extent.
yeah.
So I feel like the producers know him and probably
Well, didn't he say he was
you
in
know
the pool, bachelor pool, for a
something
while?
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I feel like maybe they were like, all right, we're gonna kick you out, but here's your ticket to paradise, and we see if you can redeem yourself then, kind of thing. Because
I do know that a lot of
there
these.
was no other drama night one.
No,
You
not
know?
really. No, yeah, and like Michelle herself is a super low drama person, you can tell.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is like a lot of these shows, like for Big Brother, for instance, they have people who have like auditioned for the show or sent in a tape or whatever in their pools for like years and years,
Hmm.
whether or not they watch the show. Like I know there was a big guy on Big Brother. His name was Fessy. He's now on the show The Challenge on MTV.
Okay.
But reality star for the last 4 or 5 years. But I know he was in the pool for a long time and had no idea like what the
Yeah.
Big Brother games were about or all that. So I
Well,
feel like Ryan might have been
I think
similar.
Kendall was on some other reality TV shows too.
Yes.
Because her and her sister would do all those twin gimmick things,
Mm-hmm.
and Canadian Daniel, he didn't even try to get on The Bachelorette. He went to some other reality show casting thing,
Oh,
and
really?
then the casting agent was like, "We think you'd be better off on The Bachelorette." So he didn't really know what the show was about. You hear lots of stuff about how people get picked up, like they're at the gym or something like that, and a Bachelor
Totally.
agent will come in and be like, "Hey, we want a bunch of buff dudes for our show." Right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you definitely can be on this show and around this franchise without being super involved in it. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
again, like if he's a bit more of a nervous guy, maybe a bit more of an analytical type, then maybe note taking and stuff is a way that maybe keeps him calm and centered and whatnot. But it isn't a good look. But again, like I said, I got my conspiracy theory hat on for this one. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think we'll definitely see him in Paradise,
yeah.
for sure.
But
Um,
she comes out of that and then starts talking to Nate. And
yes.
before this, my first impression Rose pick was going to be Jamie because I thought the first dude comes out, grabs her. They had a really good conversation at like the podium when he walked in.
Yep.
But
Yep.
then when I saw this conversation with Nate, I was like, oh, buddy, like he's killing it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I was gonna say when the rose got like presented or whatever, I was like, there wasn't anybody that was like, oh my god, it's gotta be that one
Yeah,
until
yeah.
Nate started talking to her and like, you know, they have that conversation and he's basically like, oh, I normally have a shell around me and blah blah blah. You can tell he's like actually kind of nervous.
Mhm.
Now I don't know if that could be like obviously we'll talk about it a little on the preview at the end of the episode, but like he seemed to say, hey, I have all these walls up, and then the walls broke down pretty damn
Pretty
quick.
quick.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're, but I actually remember this from Rachel Lindsay's season. Her dude that she ended up with, he seemed kind of the same, where it was like almost like 20% fake, but
Mhm.
also like super genuine at the same time.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, if you just happen to click with somebody really well, like
yeah,
that can tear down that stuff super quick.
and
Like
totally, and she's cool and
I've had
chill. So
yeah, I've had dates like that where I've met girls and we just click so well, and all of a sudden we're like talking politics, religion, marriage, kids, all this stuff, and it's like an hour and a half in, somehow it
Super nice.
just flowed out like that, right? So I can see when that happens too. So
yeah, the like relationships when things are easy in relationships, especially early on,
yeah,
that says a lot, right?
it does. It does. So then Nate does get his first impression rose, which on the Bachelorette, like if you get the first impression rose, like you usually go pretty far on this show.
Up until Katie and I believe, up until Claire's, and I think Claire, she even gave out the first impression rose to Dale.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure whether Tayshia gave first.
Tayshia gave one to Spencer, who was just a nice dude. But
yeah, so I think up until Tayshia, it was a run of like
always like top 2 or top 3.
I was gonna say winner. Like I think it was like the last like 6 or 7 had been. You get the first impression rose, you're in, man. Like you talk about like the Jordan Rogers, you talk about Rachel Lindsay's guy, which I can't remember his name.
Brian.
Brian. Thank you. And then Hannah, I don't remember who she gave the first impression rose.
Luke P. And the thing is, she was super into Luke P. And had things not got so dramatic near the end, like he probably could have lasted another episode or 2 to get himself to that top 2
easily.
And actually, they always like, he strikes me as the kind of dude that if she was with her church friends or something and had met him, that they would have been head over heels for each other.
Like that. Yep.
Yeah, like that kind of, because they did have a lot of chemistry together despite him not getting along particularly well with the other guys.
Yeah, him being a narcissist, that kind of fun stuff.
And then Becca gave hers to Garrett. I remember that, and she picked him before they split eventually.
Yeah, I would say that Nate. Well, unless like we'll talk about the preview, but it looks like he's going pretty far.
It does look like he's going pretty far.
Yeah.
So.
And then obviously, then we cut to the rose ceremony pretty much, right?
We do. Mm-hmm. And do you have any surprises for guys that got through the rose ceremony? I've got 2 guys I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, so I didn't write a note for everybody that got a rose. I'll be honest, I probably should have. But I wrote down the first 3 that got roses. Number 1 was Jamie, which makes sense. Like he's was the most like go get him. Like he talked to her first. She gave the rose first. Like, I feel like there was a little bit of respect there.
Yeah.
But the second guy, Leroy, I was like, who is this guy? I literally wrote, who the fuck is that?
That's Polaroid camera guy. And that's all I had to go to my other page of my notes here. Too.
Yeah. He got the second rose, and I'm like, who are you, man? Like, you're a good looking guy. That's great. But like, I had like nothing from the episode or from us going over the list of men had Leroy in my head at all. So that was surprising. Also had this
super short bio that we both looked at and we're like, wow, there's nothing here.
I think it might have been,
Might have been him.
Yeah.
And who was 3?
And then number 3 was Martin, who had the really cool, like, shaved sides of his hair that had like the racing stripes. Yep, and the bleach on top. Like, I think he's kind of a dark horse candidate to go deep on this. Like, I saw him in some of the preview package, and I'm like, no, you never know.
He seems like a cool dude. Yeah, no, I kind of like him. Like, he at the same time, he seems like like that picture makes him look like kind of a douchebag.
Oh, big time.
But then he just seems also pretty chill, and he seems like in the shots hanging out with all the guys, they all seem to like him. So I'm like, okay, he seems pretty cool.
And like, there's those guys, that like get the crazy haircut there. You're like, buddy, why the hell did you get that haircut? But then it's like, oh, it actually like is interesting and you're cool. Okay.
Yeah. I have a friend who actually has almost the same haircut.
Oh, really?
He's Spanish as well. And so after I started to get to know, I was like, maybe I'm projecting my buddy onto Martin a little bit, but
sure.
Martin seems like a good dude. So.
Yeah. No,
and I bet you, spoilers for me, he's not one of my picks to make like top 3 or top 2.
No.
But again, he's another guy that I'm like, I think he goes to paradise, and a lot of the ladies find him quite popular.
He's a good-looking cat for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't have too many more notes about the guys that got roses in the middle until we get to the final rose.
I just have 2 surprises. I was surprised that LT,
I was kind of hoping that he made it. Like the whole time, I'm like,
I guess.
bro, I need the Bellevue jokes more in the podcast. Come on, let's
Okay.
go.
All right.
Let's go.
It just seemed like their intro discussion seemed kind of awkward and
Yeah,
not there.
It was very
And there was
off.
nothing else of him in the episode, right?
I
So
think
I
that
was like,
the producers always have like
They
3 or
want him.
4 or 5 guys where like Michelle clearly, and I truly believe this. I think the lead within the first 30 to 40 minutes of the cocktail party knows the top 3 or 4 that they want like to go deep with, right? And there's got to be like a few slots that the producers are like, you don't care? Pick this guy.
Yeah, we want him for TV. But
Yeah.
I think Becca mentioned something that she knew by the end of the first roast ceremony, she kind of already had her top 5 guys kind of picked out.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Nick
and
Viall.
a lot of
yeah.
A lot of the Bachelorettes have seemed to said that they kind of know who they have their most chemistry with almost immediately.
And it's like,
well,
yeah, some of it's still real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you have to be like, I have to be able to have a conversation with this person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
But then our buddy Tony Romo, Alec getting through. Again, that surprised me because
nothing.
Seemed like nothing on the podium. You know, when he walks up and says hi, and then nothing all episode. So maybe they had a wonderful conversation we didn't get to see.
Might be a weird edit. Yep.
Because there's totally things like that happening. Because apparently, in other years and stuff, you hear people are like, "Oh, we talked for like 25 minutes and you saw none of it, right?" And that's like, "Oh, okay." So.
Well, do you remember like maybe I forget which Bachelorette season it was. It might have been JoJo's, or maybe I can't remember, where there was Vinny. He was like this barber from the East Coast. Had like kind of a strange haircut, but he was a barber, and I remember like had like almost no connection with the Bachelorette for like the first half of the show, but he made it to like the final like 7 or 8 guys.
Yeah,
I remember it's one of those things.
I remember guys like that, like what was his name? Leo. Do you remember Leo on Becca's season? He had the really big hair.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They had like no connection, but he somehow made it to like he was like the 6th person to get sent, like the 6th last person to get sent home or something. But they had like no connection. It seemed like
could just be like, oh, this guy's the most easygoing of the guys that aren't serious contenders. I could see that.
And maybe you want to get rid of some other dudes, and I don't mind doing. You can hang out. You can go on another vacation or something. So,
yeah, exactly.
But
so
okay. So who went home? Brandon K. That's Bede's guy.
Yep. We're not shocked there.
No surprise there. I lost Brian. I really had
one of your guys.
But I knew I was in trouble, like I said, when we get to the rose ceremony, and he's had like 9 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
I remember thinking that when I was watching the episode, I was like, the 3 guys I picked are getting like ass loads of screen time. This is good for me. Adam's guys, I don't know.
Yeah. Edward goes home. He had long hair. That's all I have written down. I think he was the bowl guy.
Yes, the bowl guy. Yep.
Garrett, our Kane friend, goes home.
Yeah, which honestly, like, again, he would have such a hard time on those dates. Like, all of the dates are like aggressively physical. So it kind of sucks.
Jack goes home. He's our military guy.
Jack Russell, again, yes.
Yeah, he's my pick that he's going to end up in paradise. And
he's going to slay it. Yep.
Yeah, there's just something about him where I got such a good vibe from him. So
absolutely.
And then Jamari, Mr. No Sleeves, Mr. Deep Voice, he got home, which was a bit of a surprise to me because
broke my heart and Baby Ruthie's heart like hard.
I just thought he stood out, right?
I don't think he ever talked to her. I think that was the problem.
That's the thing. There was a comment he made early where he's like, "Oh, I haven't got my time yet," and then it cuts to the rose ceremony, and again, you never know, but sometimes guys don't get time. Right?
You would think with his arms that if he was talking to her, they'd at least cut to a like quick like glimpse of them talking in between like other dudes kind of thing.
She's got great moves too, though. She's ripped, man.
She's a very, very fit lady.
So,
but yeah, and
so
then,
I still have Brandon. Oh, I was gonna say I still have Brandon J and Chris G though. So I may have lost Brian, but
that's okay. That's okay. I got all 3 of my guys. Joe is on thin ice, I think. Daniel, I was kind of like mixed because he didn't have a lot of time after the toy fire truck, but I feel like he seemed like a genuinely good dude. So I think that's why he coasted through, and then Nate is the front runner, I think. So
yeah. No, Nate's definitely like, if I were to pick my top three right now, I'm picking Brandon J, because I think out of my guys, I think he's got the best chance.
Yep.
I think Joe, I'm actually I feel like he's going to go pretty far. I don't know if he goes top three, but because I was going to pick him or Clayton, and I'm not sure between the two of them, because I feel like they both go pretty far. And then I have Nate, absolutely. Like, Nate would be my favorite at this point.
I got lucky with Nate in the picks. I was like, man, I picked him for the original. I got to stick with him.
Yeah.
So Nate's my guy. Definitely Joe. I think Joe's going to go deep. I think maybe there's one of the other guys that was in a ton of the promos, and it was a lot of like in the shadows thing that had a shaved head. Like another one of the guys that has like the really tight, like I think he was one of the black dudes that has like the really tight like fade or whatever.
And there's a couple guys that could have, they've got pretty tight haircuts, so they could be those mystery silhouettes in the shots for sure.
So, but I think I only had Nate as my because I feel like of my three, two of my three guys have a pretty good chance from my original thoughts. So
yeah. Who was the other guy you thought had pretty good chance?
So in the other one,
it was Joe. You had Nate and Joe.
Nate and Joe. Yep. I don't really have a third per se. I would say maybe Jamie if I had to guess at somebody. But I don't know if he'll go super super deep. He might just.
Like I said, I think he gets to like he disappears in episode 4. Kind of thing.
And it's clear that Clayton's gonna go deep because
well, that's why I want to know. I'm almost like, how far does he go? Right? Does he go to top 3? Does he go to hometowns? Right? Well,
And I feel like Katie, when they announced her ahead of the season, right, or mid-season, I forget.
I don't think they announced her till after the season, but I think it was like a poorly kept secret. I think it was a poorly kept secret.
Okay, because I think what it was I didn't watch Matt James' season until after it had like already fully aired. But I just remember thinking like Katie didn't go that deep. Like she went like maybe a little more than halfway.
Yeah, she got just over halfway.
But she got this like edit of like, oh, I'm taking care of the girls, when I'm like, you just kind of were a tattletale. Honestly,
at the same time, she didn't name any names, which I kind of respected. She just kind of said, hey, there's some shit going on, you should kind of look into it. But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're saying shit's going on, but why are you stopping at that detail? Like, just say what's going on, right?
Honestly, like I actually thought Katie was going to be a great Bachelorette, and then
she was okay.
It was all right, and hashtag Team Greg. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so let's look at the preview. I have a few notes here. I put Viking Wars as first one because they're definitely going to Minnesota. Definitely.
How early do you think they go?
I would think it looked like a pretty big group.
Yeah, like it looked like they had like 12, 13 dudes. So they're down to 23 after tonight.
Probably they got rid of 7 guys the first night.
They probably cut 4 more, maybe the next rose ceremony. So maybe by episode 4 or whatever, they'll be in Minnesota.
I think week 3 or 4 they'll start to move for sure.
Because it looks like they got a lot going on in Minnesota. So.
Yeah. I saw Viking Wars. I saw the Minnesota football stadium. There was a Twins game that I saw. Those were kind of the big ones that
there was also a lot of boating clips, it looked like, and Minnesota's got a kajillion lakes, right? So
there could be that.
Was it Land of 1,000 Lakes or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I saw those boating clips, and those boats looked like freshwater boats, not saltwater boats.
Oh, did they? Okay, I didn't pay enough attention. Okay.
A freshwater boat's going to have a shallower hull, where a saltwater boat's going to have a kind of deeper, rounder hull to it. So
interesting. So my thought was, and this is jumping ahead a little, but like the final shots are obviously like on a beach somewhere. It looked more tropical, but
it looked super tropical.
Yeah, so I think maybe some of it's tropical, maybe some of it's lake stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too. They were cutting between them, so you don't know what's it, because that tropical stuff, that's oceanfront for sure.
I figured, it looked like ocean waves.
Is that going to be, like SoCal ocean waves, like some
I'm betting resort? Like Caribbean, maybe.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. Like maybe they head down into Mexico or they head over to the Gulf there. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so other things, I put in astronaut training of some sort, where
Oh, I didn't notice
all the
that.
guys walk out in those astronaut like jumpsuits or like flight suits kind of things. And then
Oh,
they
okay.
have the zero G simulator where the guys are like flipping around in the ball,
I did
if you
not
recall
pick up
that.
on that at all.
Yeah, so I think
Interesting.
there's something, I don't know if it's astronaut, but maybe like flight training of some kind.
Okay.
Because they do that a lot for like zero gravity training.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then yeah, obviously then it starts to jump into the drama. The first drama being like, did Joe know her before coming here? And I think they're talking about Joe.
That's the only person it can be, and
Yeah,
I feel like that's going to get rooted out right away
yeah,
because something we didn't mention at the rose ceremony was Joe got the final rose, but she
she
had to
did.
like go off and did it show her talking to anybody, or she just kind of walk off and walk back
It was a
home?
weird edit because she walked off and then cut to commercial, and then
Yeah.
the cut from the commercial came back and she walked back down the stairs.
Okay.
So
So the guys probably were like, something must be up for her to need extra time to, you know, think about Joe or whatever.
yeah,
So
girlfriend was rehashing in her brain for sure.
yeah. And then there's some drama between Peter and Will.
Yes, yeah, I
Um,
couldn't remember Will's name for some reason. This is the
I had
jacket
to look at my
incident, right?
notes. Yeah.
Like I feel like the jacket is gonna be the Colton jumping the fence. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the jacket, waiting for the pool jacket. Come on.
Or remember you just finished Paradise. There was the cake getting thrown in the fire.
Yes,
A few
yes.
years ago, Jordan threw like a giant teddy bear into the ocean.
Yep, yep.
Um,
A lot of similarities to BIP things there.
wasn't there was an was it Becca's season where somebody threw a picture into the pool and the guy
Yep,
had like a he was like crying because he's like, oh, this is the most valuable thing I have, and I was like, really, man, you knew this girl for a day and a half.
yep, yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of things get thrown into water, it seems
I
like.
love it though. I'm
Yeah,
glad for that kind of drama. That feels more like old school Bachelorette stuff again,
yeah,
where I
trashy.
feel like we've kind of been missing that for a little while.
Yeah,
Uh,
everyone's trying to be so classy these days.
ugh, how dare they? You
I
know,
know,
I
right?
feel like it's the funniest thing is the ones that are kind of jerks end up with huge social media followings. Like Chad now has
They stand out.
like Chad was doing stuff for like E. He was like doing like
Really?
yeah, he was doing yeah. He also got sober after all of the
Oh no,
craziness.
that's
Like
good. Good for him.
he was clearly not doing well on the alcohol. But um, the next thing I was gonna say was then it kind of cuts to there was some drama about Nate being a player or an actor, and I'm like, I don't know if that's just guys being like jealous about how much time he's getting with her, or I
That's what I feel.
I don't see it.
I feel like he's gonna get like a one on one. So I bet you something happens where like there's gonna be like a group date, and he kind of gets a lot of her time on a group date, and
Yep.
then guys gonna be like, "You just had the one on one last week. Why are you give the other guys time?" Like you get that every season.
Yeah. Why are you doing the Dale treatment? Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
one thing that they showed that I thought was pretty cool, and I think this is when they get to Minnesota. Is it looks like they bring a couple of her students back in
mm-hmm.
for like a classroom date where they got all the guys. They're in like the desks with their name tags up, and
Yep.
I'm so hoping we get like a great "Are you smarter than a fifth grader" thing
It looked like they
where
tried to
like
do some chemicals there.
yeah, and I just want to see stuff where it's like, I don't know, they're asking the guys geography questions, and then like Michelle's fifth grader gets the question right, and all the guys get it wrong.
Oh god, that'd be
Something
gold.
I want something like that so badly.
That sounds amazing. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep. And then the last thing I think was the typical. I hate to call it typical because they do this a lot for the original preview or whatever. Hey, Matt and Cheese, how are you? Hello, hello. But this typical like, oh, the guys aren't giving in the effort I want for me. Like, are they even here for me? Oh, they're just not doing it. And I feel like they do that a lot with the Bachelorette edits
they
because that's an
do.
easy like, oh, she's a girl been looking for love her whole life, and then all of a sudden she has all these guys and no one's trying hard enough.
Well, there's that poetry. There must be some kind of poetry date because they've played the shit out of it now.
Yep.
Where she's like, I got never was never asked to prom, but always first for basketball, something or rather, apple picking in the fall or whatever it is.
Yes.
And so there's obviously gonna be some kind of poetry date like that, and I can like see her getting kind of really emotional about something. Like what happens, I wonder, is maybe some guys get into drama on a date and it takes away from the purpose of the date,
I'm
and
sure.
then has the are they even here? They seem to care more about getting into fights or
They're
broing out.
yeah, they're having fun with each
Something.
other instead of loving on me. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Claire had a little freak out like that because
Oh God, she was the worst.
she was spending all her time with Dale, so all the other dudes just started hanging out together as bros. And then when she came to grab like another dude, they all just kind of looked at each other because they're in the middle of broing out.
Yeah, they're like
super mad.
Who's this lady?
Yeah. Who are you? What? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're done. Grinding with Dale for the last 2.5 hours. All right.
Yep. And for Matt and Cheese, yes, we are chit chatting about the Bachelorette. The season premiere was on Tuesday, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, completely agree. I think that's just editing. I'm curious to see what folks have to say about that, honestly. But I feel like there's plenty of these guys that seem super genuine, and if she picks the right ones to go deep, they're gonna be, all in.
I mean, to be pragmatic about it, right? There's gonna be there's 30 dudes. Yep. Probably 7 of them legitimately feel like they have some kind of real connection. Couple guys probably feel a soft connection.
Yeah.
And a bunch of guys probably know already, despite the fact I got a rose, there's almost nothing there.
Yeah.
So, maybe those are the guys that get more involved in the bro to bro drama or start forming the bromances and whatnot.
For sure. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the season preview. Obviously, like you had mentioned, they had the weird little bit of B-roll at the end there with Tayshia and Caitlyn in the bed.
Yeah.
Super cute, super funny. My one note about Tayshia was during the rose ceremony. I forgot to say this during the rose ceremony section. For the final rose, Tayshia walks up in like also a super sparkly getup with like a short skirt, and I'm like, damn, Tayshia, we're not here to upstage Michelle. Like I think Michelle's a very beautiful lady, but Tayshia's like a cut above human.
There's a few women in this franchise. Like Tayshia was one of the ones that, like, from the first time I saw her on TV, I was like, damn.
Yep. Yeah,
if she signs up, if she becomes the Bachelorette, like, I'll sign up for her season, and then she has that kind of surprise season, and I missed my chance.
Damn it, dude. Damn it.
But like she is one of the most beautiful women they've ever had on the show.
Yep.
And it's something that because I saw the picture of Clayton with Jesse Palmer, and it's like Jesse Palmer's like 45. He's still jacked and handsome.
He's still very good looking. Yeah.
You're gonna have things, so I bet you he's gonna come out, and some of the girls might be looking at him more than they're gonna be looking at Clayton.
Yeah.
And when you have Caitlyn and Tayshia, who are both like absolute rockets, like some of the guys are gonna just be kind of looking like, all right.
Yeah, I found it interesting because for those that don't know, obviously Chris Harrison got ousted, a couple seasons back because of some interesting comments he made.
End of Matt's season.
Season. Yep. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or was it during Claysha?
No, so he did a part of Claire's season, and then I think they brought in, or no, I think he might have done both actually. Because
I can't remember, but it was around because there's the real world timeline and then the TV show timeline.
Exactly. So I think he did both those shows. Hey, Craig. He did both of those shows, and then I think the whole drama around Matt James's choice.
I think it wasn't even so much Matt's choice; it was like the comments he made about it.
He backed up. He backed up the wrong angle. Is what I.
Like you can say, hey, it's okay that he picked her and we had her on the show. You got to talk about it in a way that doesn't just be like, is racism really bad?
Yeah, that's what he decided to go that route, and it's like,
yeah,
Chris, God damn it.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I loved Chris Harrison before that, so it's a bit of a change. But
I
I have
never
to
really
say,
liked him, honestly.
oh really? Okay.
No, he always rubbed me the wrong way because he always came across so fake to me. Where
Mm.
he's always talking to these contestants like he's their best friend and he's got their best interests in mind. But you know, the second he walks off camera, he's in the production truck, like doing, like talking about, oh, we got to stick so and so with so and so together. Tell so and so to, throw this
Yeah.
cake in the garbage or you just know he was doing all that
So
stuff.
you're taking the angle that Chad had, which was like, fuck you, Chris Harrison. You're gonna get a bathrobe and a mimosa after this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as aggressive as Chad, but definitely I think I don't want to give a lot of credit to Chad, but he made a few comments there that I feel like, you know what? I'm kind of glad somebody said it.
Yeah, he was the squeakiest wheel that's ever lived.
Yeah.
But no, what I will say though, I'm actually like knowing Jesse Palmer from sports, from like the sports broadcasting that he's done.
He's also Canadian.
Is he Canadian? No kidding.
You bet, dude.
Jesus.
It's such a big deal in Canada when any Canadian accomplishes anything that isn't being good at hockey.
Of course.
So we know them all. We know all our comedians, all our musicians, all our TV people, our actors, our personalities.
Football players. Yeah.
We know all of them. Like there's an O lineman on the Chiefs. And he's a good old lineman, but he's nothing special. But man, does he get celebrity treatment because he's like the best Canadian to ever play in the NFL.
Well, what's the population of Canada now?
37 and a half, 38 million.
There you go. When
it's less than California.
Exactly. So yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. But so like what I was gonna say though is like I'm really stoked that he's taking over the franchise because he's very well spoken. Obviously, yeah, he's maybe a little too good looking. But
he's really he's like very like almost like a caricature of a handsome dude.
A little bit. Well, and
he's a bit of that internet meme, the Giga Chad chin, a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit.
And he was Bachelor number 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, he was really early.
He was so. And did he end up staying with his gal that he picked?
No,
I don't think so.
He saw something about, again, because he's Canadian, so he gets like an extra press coverage up here. There was something about him getting engaged like a year or two ago, maybe sooner, some younger girl in her late 20s or something like that.
Gotcha. Well, I look forward to having him for Clayton's season at very least.
He does a lot of Canadian TV as well. Like he did a lot of correspondence for like Canada, where they go to all these red carpet events or these big, the Golden Globes or the Oscars, and he'd be their person there, really well spoken, knows how to handle those conversations. He does a lot of the sports TV up here as well. He does a lot, like he's on TSN, which is our version of ESPN.
Yeah.
He's on that regularly as the NFL correspondent and stuff. So plus he's done tons of other hosting gigs. Like he has.
He's been everywhere.
So I think he'll do really good, and as long as he tries to keep himself a little bit clean, and like I said, Chris always knew he would act like the drama was awful that it was happening, but he was loving it. And so as long as Jesse can kind of pull back on that a little bit, I'll be pretty happy with him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have to say, like, of all of the season premieres over the last, at least 3, I should say at least 2 Bachelorette seasons, as well as a couple of Bachelor seasons, I think this one I'm the most stoked for. I feel like the travel as well as Michelle herself, it's gonna be a really good season.
This might be the most watchable one they've produced, maybe since Hannah.
Yep, exactly. That was the last one that produced like what I would call crossover stars in a lot of stuff. Right?
Yeah. I didn't have to pause and come back to this. I just watched it.
Yep, it was super smooth. Yep.
So sometimes I'll get so exhausted watching these, dealing with the people on the show, that I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, like I struggled getting through Katie's season. Like I literally, like, every episode was like pulling teeth.
I finished Katie's season, but it got to the point where I would get up and start vacuuming and miss 20 minutes and not care.
You're like, whatever. She's still going after Blake
and then
again.
So when I remember you would ask me questions like, man, I am blanking.
It's just I'm really happy that they got a good vibe going on. I think it's starting to return back. Yeah.
I'm excited to see them, even though like they're not going anywhere super crazy. Like they're not going to the Philippines and going to
Right.
Norway or anything. But you
Right.
know what? They're at a resort in LA probably for 2 weeks. Then they're going to Minnesota for 2 weeks. And then they're gonna do whatever the final resort. Maybe there's even a third location, a third or fourth location in there.
Good enough for me.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's just
Like maybe if they stay in the U.S., they might be able to do proper hometowns. Like if none of the Canadian guys
maybe.
make it, and with Nate, I mean, his family, like they could bring him down from Winnipeg. I'm assuming a lot easier than they could send him and the crew to Winnipeg because we had really strict border restrictions, even for
Right.
you know essential businesses, which like film and sports would always qualify for.
Yeah.
But they still had really strict restrictions. So, but if you went the other way, it was wherever you landed was the restrictions.
Sure.
So if he's in Texas, they don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I think it's going to be a good season. Appreciate you joining me again. Like for those that weren't around for the beginning, this is the Beer for the Right Reasons podcast. This is really we'll call it episode 1A. This is the first one that we've done.
Episode 0 was last week.
Yeah. We had a prequel episode, but now that Michelle's season's going strong, we'll be here on a weekly basis. Usually midweek, I would say Wednesday, Thursday, typical for the two of us.
Wednesday should be good schedules. For me. I'm so sorry that my mom had her birthday yesterday.
Oh, how dare she? How dare she be born? Good for her. I hope she had a great birthday. So
we did carrot cake. My sister did a delicious seafood dinner. And we hung out with the dogs.
Perfect.
You bet.
But yeah, appreciate you coming on again, Adam. Like I said, we'll be on here. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube. I'm going to get on that, potentially edited, potentially raw like this, but we're gonna throw it up there, and hopefully some folks will come join us on these future live episodes. But thanks for everybody that's hung out. Craig, Matt and Cheese, Cat, Switch Faced, Sword in the Stone. You guys are awesome.
All beautiful lurkers as well.
Indeed. Well, thanks again, my dude. I appreciate you.
You betcha. Next Wednesday, 6 o'clock my time or 7 o'clock my time.
Yeah, let's go try for 7 o'clock your time.
All right, 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain.